Good afternoon, everyone. It's Matt here from Sharp Medical. I hope you've had a good Easter holidays. Um, the message today concerns digital bookkeeping and an offer of service from us as your accountants. As time goes on, obviously the world is moving to a digital platform, and bookkeeping is no different. We are seeing that the days of Excel spreadsheets and even written paperwork, those days are becoming a thing of the past. And I feel as accountants, we've got to embrace this move. We've got to make sure that our clients are up to date with digital accounting like every other business would be. Just because you're a medic in private practice does not mean that we don't need to be hot on the trail when it comes to keeping good records. In fact, you've got a legal obligation to do so. And I think over the last couple of years, I've had so many clients say to me, Matt, we want to run an efficient business, we want to be financially effective, but we want things in good order as well. We don't want to have to scramble around at the accounting year end to get you the paperwork. We don't want to have these horrid surprises that we've missed a dividend opportunity or missed a salary opportunity or we've paid tax on income that we've not yet received. It's a real problem. And I remember when we started the business up back in 2011, I remember thinking back then that this is an area of business that doctors are not given the opportunity to do well in. It's almost as if we say, well, because you're a doctor, just work hard, pay the money into a bank account, keep a bit of a list of costs if you can, and then give it to us. Well, I don't think that's right, actually. I don't think that's the right attitude at all, because doctors, more than anyone, need to be aware of their financial progress throughout the year in order to make good decisions. And that's not just a throwaway management line, that's absolutely true. You think of how many doctors these days have to be concerned about the £200,000 threshold for pension tax purposes. Think about doctors who want to declare a salary or dividend mid year, they want to know the implications of doing it. It's totally right and it's only fair that doctors should be given the same opportunities as any other business person. So, what we've done as a firm is we've put our heads together with the help of colleagues within the firm to work out what the problems are for the modern day doctor and what we could do to help. Because I think if we can help, not only do we assist our client in bringing things into order, making good financial decisions, and having financial confidence, but we can then prepare your accounts at the end of the accounting year without having to chase you up with 100 papers, without having 100 queries. We can do it throughout the year, every quarter. And I think that will be ideal for all of us as we all get busier in life generally. So let me just work through first the current issues that I think your typical doctor faces when running a private medical practice. Now, don't get me wrong, some people do this very well already and probably don't need our help. Great. We like preparing those accounts, and the doctor has already got confidence to do it himself or herself. But there are doctors who don't have that comfort. So let's look at this list of what I think are the issues that many of you do face. Firstly, very busy schedule, no time for quality bookkeeping. So I'm talking to you at a time when we've got a junior doctor strike, NHS waiting lists I hear from the top of the country to right to the very bottom are absolutely overflowing. And I would imagine that the vast majority of our clients do not want to go home and start reconciling bank accounts, making sure their trial balances not no fun for anybody and not likely to get better anytime soon. So busy schedule is certainly an issue. Another thing I see is the difficulty to make mid-year decisions with confidence. I would say 60% of my phone calls and emails are questions along the lines of, Matt, I want to pay a dividend. What are the financial implications of doing it? What tax will I pay? What impact does it have on my payments on account? Have I got enough money in my business to do it? Will I trigger tapering of my pension input allowance? And most of the time, when that question comes to me, it's a case of bringing together some vague facts to give a piece of advice that we later have to revisit. Nobody really comes to me and says, Matt, here are my interim accounts. Here's my latest payslip. here's the information, therefore, to give me a definitive answer. And it's because we don't really have up-to-date record keeping. And I fear that opportunities will be missed if we don't have those up-to-date figures. Another issue is the trust we put in secretaries and billing companies. Now, these secretaries and billing companies do a superb job across the board generally, and I regularly thank them for what they do. But I sometimes think to myself, are these people bookkeepers or are they secretaries and billing professionals? Well, that's the answer, isn't it? These people aren't necessarily trained in accountancy, trained in debits and credits, trained in financial systems and control. Therefore, when we're running a successful private medical practice, is it a little bit naive to put all of the financial administration into the hands of these people who are doing their best, doing a great job, but maybe pulled outside of their comfort zone? Raising a bill and collecting the debt is one thing. Recording it in the accounting books and digitally accounting for the transaction and making a provision for the associated corporation tax is not the same. We have the issue of, are you being paid for the work you do? Now, this is, again, one of those, it's probably more common than you'd think. It is probably more common than you expect. So we can spend a lifetime talking about tax savings, avoiding pension taxes, forming limited companies, salaries and dividends to spouses and children. Well, this is all pie in the sky stuff if you're not being paid for the work that you do. And quite often at the end of the accounting year, when we prepare a set of company accounts, or sole trader, we say to ourselves, tell me what you have billed in the year. So give me a grand total of what you have invoiced. And then we compare that to the money coming into the bank statements. So never mind what the practice management software says, we look at the bank statements, the bit that matters, and there's often a major mismatch. And therefore I think to myself, hold on a moment, are you doing work, billing for it, paying tax on it, actually not getting the money? And if not, if you are getting the money, are you getting the money in a timely fashion? So again, I feel that interim accounts, let's call it interim accounts rather than bookkeeping, would be a help to that for some people. And like I've put in the next bullet, are you paying tax on income you've never received? Well, there you go. Are we confident that all of our hospitals, patients, insurance companies are paying us within 30 days? Is it beyond the realms of possibility that we billed someone a year ago and we've not noticed? For many doctors, they may think this is not a problem. But I can assure you that I have seen many an occasion where there was a bill raised months and months ago and it needs to be written off and it hasn't been. So we're ending up paying tax on income that we've not had and will probably never get. Year-end obligations to the accountant are time-consuming and stressful. So our typical email out at your accounting year-end will be, can you send me across your bank statements, an invoice listing, a list of your bad debts, a summary of your costs, a summary of your dividends, a summary of the doubtful debts, your latest pay slip, all in its own right doable. But I do wonder if some people would benefit from doing this throughout the year. So not having that email from me. You say, Matt, it's the 31st of March, the year ends here, just prepare my accounts with what I've been giving you throughout the year. To me, that's the way the world is going. And if you Google search making tax digital, you'll see this HMRC government initiative to make all businesses do that. We have to do it as a firm of accountants. Luckily, many doctors don't have to worry about making tax digital. But I think it's widely accepted that that is the way the world is going. I don't see a situation where in 5 years' time people do their accounts at the end of the year. I don't think that will happen. I think people will be working more closely with their accountant, preparing accounts every month or every quarter, having those little check-ins every quarter, and the year-end process comes and goes without any bumps in the road. And above all, businesses have a legal obligation to maintain accounting records. So perhaps my tone so far has been, this is all very optional. Well, actually, strictly speaking, you do have a legal obligation to keep good accounting records. And in theory, HMRC could check your accounting records and say, well, where's your sales ledger? Where's your bank reconciliation? How likely it is? Well, I don't see many of them, I must admit. But most of our clients will want to know the potential risks. So just keep that in the back of your mind. On one hand, we want to suit you and make sure that you're more informed and more up to date and don't have the hassle. But at the same time, there's always that little nagging thought that HMRC are breathing down our necks a little bit. So, what's the proposed solution? And by the way, this proposed solution, I don't want it to just be a case of um, compliance. I don't want it just to be a case of, right, that's it, another quarter done. I want it to be an opportunity to open a few more doors for more advice. So I want to see some quarterly accounts for your business where I can take a half an hour look and say, yep, there's your opportunity. I would not have spotted that had I not seen the mid year figures. And by the way, now is therefore the time to make a pension or dividend contribution. Now is the time to pay something to a family member. Now is the time to not pay a dividend. It would be nice if we could get into that position. So I don't want this just to be another admin cost in your accounts. It has to be something that adds value. So my proposed solution is this. You consider outsourcing your core bookkeeping to your accountant. The accountant maintains the accounts digitally on Xero, XCRO. You can see it online. It's a well-known digital software package, links up to your bank account, and pretty much puts us at the steering wheel of the business when it comes to bookkeeping. So you just say outsource, and it's all done on a digital platform. Absolutely no sending papers in the post. I go as far as to say that we wouldn't accept that anyway, because it wouldn't be viable for us to do it that way. And in return, we would send to you simple, easy to understand, to the point accounts once per quarter. And when I say that, I picture a situation where you get income and expense summary for the current month compared to the last 3 months, a year to date revenue and cost figure, a brief balance sheet showing you what your assets and liabilities are. Crucially, you will see the amount of tax you have accrued to date. So not the year end figure that needs to be paid, but so far this tax year, that's what you've accrued as a liability. And as per the final point, the financial pointers specific to you, some messages from me saying, Dr. X, I can see that at this given time you need to do this, that, and the other. Or Dr. X, sit tight, you can't do anything for the minute. It would be a great opportunity for us as accountants to show more flair, show that we're forward thinking, hopefully stimulate ideas at your end too. But it does hinge on good practice management with regard to bookkeeping and falling into this habit of saying, no, it is not a year end process dealing with Matt. It's every quarter. It's simple to understand throughout the year. And then we have our big dollop of advice at the end of the accounting year when things are truly wrapped up. As for fees, as you can imagine, we're going to have to do this on a client by client basis based on volume of activity, the complexity of the case. But I'm more than happy to consider each and every person on a case by case basis and find a deal that works for you and us if it can be. We've got to make sure it's manageable on both sides. So if you've got any interest in this whatsoever, drop me a quick email, matt@sharpmedical.co.uk, and I will arrange for a Zoom meeting or a phone call or even some email exchange to work out what we could do. I hope this message is well received. Start of a new financial year. I think it's the right time to deliver it, and I will be interested to hear what people say in return to me. Thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of the Easter break if that's what you're on, and we'll catch up soon. Bye for now.